Hi everyone, Hunter Reviews here, the youngest movie critic on the internet, and it is time for a review of Skyscraper. This is the second movie from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 2018. He had another movie this year called Rampage, and if you go check out my review for that movie, which you can if you just search up Rampage on my channel, then you'll know that I sarcastically liked that movie, but probably not in the way that you'd think I liked that movie. This movie is basically about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being a security guard at the tallest skyscraper known to man. And it gets attacked by these super guys, and he must try and save his family, while in the process, I guess, trying to clear his name? Yeah, I heard early reviews of this movie and I wasn't really surprised. In fact, I was more amused that this movie was getting bad reviews because it just, shows you that money isn't everything. And yeah, this movie kind of sucks. I did not like Skyscraper. In fact, it was kind of headache-inducing. And it's so lackluster. When I heard that this movie was basically ripping off Die Hard and Tower Inferno, I believe that's the movie. I've watched it, but I just can't remember. It's not photographic. However, those influences are definitely there. Yet Skyscraper is so derivative that it can't even do what its influences have done. And Die Hard and Tower Inferno have done it way better than Skyscraper has. Skyscraper is cheesy, it's cliche, and at some points it's really, really stupid. And this movie is basically the definition of unself-aware. What I love about this movie, and I'll give it points for this, is that it's really funny. This movie is insanely funny. There are moments where I actually bursted out laughing. Just scenes of true dumbness that really make this film what it is. I just wish it was self-aware. Let's get into the pros. I guess, the action is serviceable at best. That's the only point I can give the action in this film. Another thing about this film is that the performance by The Rock is mediocre, and it's just mediocre. It's nothing else. It's really just mediocre. But that's kind of it. And the only other thing that I liked about this movie is that it's kind of funny. But that's basically it. My problems with this movie stem from basically everything else. From the mediocre performance by Dwayne, the serviceable action, and the funny moments in this film aren't enough to push itself out of the barriers of basically everything else. Direction isn't very competent. In fact, it's very sloppy. And I've seen this director's work, and he can definitely direct, and he is a very competent director. However, I can't help but feel like he was just kind of sleepwalking through it. The script is awful. It's quite awful. It's stupidly awful. Each character in this movie ranges from bland to hollow. Each character kind of has their own way of thinking of things, and the way that shit is just handled in this movie is at the extent of characters' lives. Lives are put in danger. Yet these characters are dumber than stumps. I can't help but notice the fact that this movie has characters that are in the movie just so The Rock can save them. Characters in this movie are either there so The Rock can kill them, or The Rock can save them. And it's more that The Rock could kill them or save them. The villains in this movie are James Bond, but they crank the cheesiness up to a high high level. When the villain explained his motivation for wanting to kill Dwayne, I laughed pretty hard. I laughed pretty hard. The special effects are awful. They're really quite bad, and at some points they're glaring and kind of annoying. The rest of the cast cast in this movie makes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson look like Marlon Brando in his prime. They kind of just are awful. The wife is bad. Whoever played the villain is terrible. And there's child actors in this film, and they are wow. They're pretty bad. This movie is just is headache inducing. It's bad. It's bad. The acting is horrible. The action is serviceable. Dwayne does an okay job. The direction's bad. The effects are bad. Everything is basically bad about this movie. I laughed pretty hard, and for an action drama, this is the funniest comedy of the year. Yet again, it's not really a comedy and more of an action drama thriller. But it's a comedy. I'm going to give Skyscraper a 3 out of 10.